I wanted to talk about this kid that got stabbed to death at the track meet, and we didn't talk about it because I haven't talked about it because I wanted the.
What do we know about the motive?
He was under a tent that he wasn't supposed to be in, and they told him to leave the tent, and he said, "Don't touch me, or you'll find out." And the kid pushed him, and he pulled out a knife and stabbed the kid in the chest and killed him.
Who brings I did track all throughout high school. Who brings a knife to a track meet?
It's not an important part of track.
I don't think he's a member of the track team.
No.
That's why they were asking him to leave the track team tent.
Who goes to a track meet? Who cares?
Who would go? No.
When I was in high school, track's like the gayest sport ever. Like nobody would ever be the track.
I love this.
True. True. Track was pretty fun.
I did track and I wasn't good at it, but
that's
also
true.
The kids who were good, their parents almost weren't there. Like, yeah, and I am gay. You are right. But like nobody was ever who's going to track meets? Who's hanging out?
My understanding was like they had tents for the teams.
Yeah.
Where it was like, this is the tent for the blue school and this is the tent for the red school. And he was a red team athlete and he was hanging out in the blue team tent, and a blue team guy was like, "Hey, what are you doing here? Leave." And then
he's just like,
he told him to get out of here. And then he stabbed him and murdered him.
Murdered him, and he died. He died in his twin brother's. He died in his twin brother's arms. So the killer's name is.
He's
Karmelo.
been making money.
It's like
Phil the killer's name is the killer's name is Karmelo. Let me get this out, man, please. Like I've been so patient. Every time like we go on a thing, like I mute myself and let them talk about hockey. Please let me get my little story out. So the killer's name is Carmelo Anthony. Afterwards, when he's like in police custody, he's like, "Could this be considered self-defense? He didn't die, did he?" And so they've charged him with first-degree murder. And there's a GoFundMe. They've raised $500,000 for poor Carmelo Anthony. His family's doing well, though. They moved into a $900,000 house and bought an Escalade. And he's got a new lawyer who was able to get his bond reduced from $1 million, I think, to $250,000. And then you only have to pay 10% of that or something. So he's out.
He's out and making more money.
Have you seen the knife? I want to know about the knife. You said?
I have.
I was Googling for it. And by the way, that face I made wasn't about you. It was because Carmelo Anthony is an NBA player. I was like,
I know. I'm aware.
Oh, okay. I was like, what is it? His
different spelling.
Shannon Sharp?
Yeah.
Like,
the NBA player's spelling is more like the candy, like Caramello.
I don't know. I'm out of words. I want to know more. I want to know, like,
that's the article down
murder
there.
Somebody because he was in the wrong. Because that person asked him to leave a tent he wasn't allowed to be in.
The person shoved him, and he pulled out a knife and stabbed him in the chest and killed him. Is according to that article, anyway.
Yeah, he definitely murdered him at a track meet.
Oh,
and so that seems to be. And then he's been getting like a groundswell of support on like GoFundMe or whatever site it is. Kyle knows better than me. Give, send, go. Does that sound right?
Of course he is.
Yeah, and so he's getting it
thing because
it's 100%. It's 100% a race thing, and yeah, he murdered a white kid, and now he's making huge amounts of money off of it. Basically, just what Kyle said, pretty fucked up.
Yeah,
I doubt he'll be able to spend it in a fun way.
I mean, we'll see. His family's spending it right now. Like I said, they moved into a $900,000 house the next day and bought an Escalade, $150,000 Escalade.
Oh, I'm sorry. I must have been reading when you said that.
Yeah, that's coincidence, though. Don't worry about that.
That. Did you see who he has like a PR guy who's like representing him?
Of course.
Did you hear the backstory about his PR guy?
No.
His PR guy in 2009 got in legal trouble because he shook a baby so hard that it had like detached retinas and permanent brain damage.
He's a baby shaker?
He's a baby shaker.
Alleged baby shaker.
No, like this isn't like
they convicted him of baby shakery?
He was a baby shaker. Yeah.
Fuck.
Threw it would have been safer to put it in a ninja blender than what he was doing, apparently.
Yeah, I mean, I don't see two sides to this story.
Not at all.
One guy looks like he's just really bad. I mean, apparently it's the first thing he's ever done. He had no record and such, but also he was walking around with a knife at a track meet. Like there's a little bit of premeditation in that. Like he.
I think that's the first degree part, maybe. I don't know. It
Mm,
seems
Like he
I'm
wanted
always
to.
worried that they're going to overcharge somebody
I was thinking
and miss. And maybe it depends on the court system, the state or federal statutes and what have you. Because it seems like sometimes they're able to charge them with like everything. They just throw the book at them, literally, like first degree, second degree, third degree, and there's the jury can even decide. It seems that the jury can find him guilty of any number of degrees of whatever the crime is. But sometimes it seems like they could overcharge and miss.
Yeah, or sometimes they don't provide the options, right? Like you can say, first, second, and third, let the jury pick. I remember I think his name is Reginald Denny. He was the victim. He was a truck driver in the LA riots in like, I'll call it 92. If that's not right, it's super close. And they blocked the truck so he couldn't drive forward without hurting people. They opened the door and they pulled him out of the truck. And then they had him on the ground. And one of the rioters took a brick and spiked it on his head and then did some sort of victory dance. Well, the victory dance is why he got off, because the prosecutors charged him with murder. And the defense was able to say that because he went into a dance routine after spiking a brick off his head, murder wasn't his intention. And the jury was like, yeah, I guess so. Like, had they provided some other charges the jury could have picked from, then he'd probably be in jail. But they didn't. Instead, they're like, throw the book away or let him walk. And the jury let him walk.
Yeah, that's a crazy one too. That, of course,
overcharging is.
That began with the Rodney King beating, of course. That's what those riots were over. Let's hope that justice gets served in this one, because you know what'll happen if it doesn't. White people will be in the streets burning the city down.
White lives matter. I hear it all the time.
They love to do that.
White people only burn Teslas
and capitals.
Yeah, that is a fucking crazy story. Like I saw stuff today about it where like first of all, the father of the kid who was murdered and died in his twin brother's arms, which is like a cinematic level of tragedy. Like he came out the next day like a simpering little bitch and was like to the media like, I already forgive him, and I don't want this to be taken in like a racial way. And it's like, and then today the father went to like some speaking engagement where the representative and the murderer were there, and the representative of the murderer called the police on this guy, the victim's father, and had him removed from the event. And believe it or not, he didn't actually stab someone in the heart for being told to leave where he wasn't wanted. He just left. And it's like, what the fuck?
Stab anyone.
He didn't stab anyone. Not a single person.
Knife. He forgot his knife.
He must have fucking forgot his knife. Yeah. And so this is insane.
I wonder if it was a big like military style Bowie type knife, or if it was like a Leatherman that he had in his pocket anyway.
It matters a little bit. Yeah.
Dude, like the idea that this guy made hundreds of thousands of dollars for being a murderer. Because
so far,
like hundreds of thousands so far. Yeah, because he's a murderer who is black and killed a white person is fucking insane.
And then the
that's
family
insane.
Using the money irresponsibly like adds to the story in my mind. I'm like, it's just a bad look.
Show the other image that's like right under where I wrote Steph and above the fight a cop thing, that big Discord link. Show that image, because that's kind of in the same vein, but a completely different story. So this is if you go to police activity, you can watch the video that this guy stars in. He's on the side of the interstate claiming that he is Jesus Christ and telling that is on this photo on the right. That's him attacking a police officer, and he's telling the cop to bow and worship him, because he is, in fact, Jesus Christ. The cop puts up a damn good fight. I would say the cop whoops his ass with his fists. And every time he clocks him one, he's like, "Have you had enough, buddy? Get on the ground." But he makes the mistake of retreating behind his cop car, because this guy hops in the cop car and steals it. And then you go on board the dash cam, and you get to listen to his audio speaking to himself. "I am Jesus Christ. I am Lord Almighty." And he's like, "Look at your face. Not a mark on me. I am God." And then right about then he gets pit maneuvered and the car turns upside down and goes through the fucking forest. It's a fun video. But yeah, they raised how much money? 10?
11,000 something
so far. Well, that's
So
75% of his goal. You know, he only needed.
Well, he's almost to his goal.
Yeah. Good for him. Good for him.
That's crazy. Like that's the most like that. You remember that picture of that lady who was trying to stab a cop? And like her hair is wild and erratic, and she's like grimacing, like, yeah, I'm gonna stab you. Like, I think it was like an Asian cop was like, oh, please stop, or whatever he was saying. Like, it's fucking insane. That's like a cinematic picture.
I'm a pretty slow copy
of
paste,
ferocity.
There it is. That's her. Yeah, she comes out of her door screaming, making a mean devil face with her hair a mess in a bathrobe with a giant kitchen knife in her hand. She slashes that cop's face before he guns her down there.
Yeah.
I watch so much of that I'm equal parts fuck the police and Blue Lives Matter. like it's like simultaneously, because I see what they've got to deal with, and I also see them being pieces of shit, scumbag tyrants. And
they're dealing with crazy people a lot of the time, but you're right. They also are abusing
having to
power
deal with the mental illness thing, and like I don't know how you fix that. Like in the cartoons, they have those guys that show up in the white suits with the big net. We almost need that. I heard about that autistic kid the other day who was like probably no harm to anybody. He's barely verbal, but he had a blade and they shot him 9 fucking times. I think he had cerebral palsy in addition to autism. Like, this is a kid who spent his days coloring.
Stop waving that knife around so erratically. I can't. That's the only way I can fucking hold it.
And I saw the video. They didn't need to shoot that guy. They didn't need to shoot that guy.
Don't give me that face.
What am I going to have? I'm trying to add that to the list.
He's got Parkinson's.
Parkinson's, right? Put that on the list.
He was vibrating with rage. I could tell he was going to attack at any moment.
Yeah,
dude. Poor Michael J. Fox. Every time I see him, he's shakier and sadder, and I feel so bad for him. I hope we cure that. That's rough.